Hi everyone, I'm Eric Weinhofer, Product Development Engineer with Make, here today to talk about 3D printing. I hope everyone's having a great Friday. Today joining me is Make Digital Fabrication Editor Anna Kazunas, France. How are you, Anna?
I'm great. How are you doing, Eric?
Doing well.
Excellent.
So the main intent behind this hangout is we figured it's never too early to start thinking about 3D printing options for 2014. For those of you that want to look into getting a machine next year or want to make a really last minute buy for Christmas, that is still possible if you choose overnight shipping through the Maker Shed. So we're just going to talk about what printers we have to offer and some other general fun stuff about 3D printing. So to start, some of you may know Anna was in charge of the buyer's guide for our new ultimate guide to 3D printing, which was a ton of work, and there are lots of challenges behind properly reviewing a bunch of machines. So Anna, do you want to talk a little bit about that process and just how much fun it was to do all this?
Sure. It was a fantastic experience, as you know, because you were there, Eric.
I was.
Yeah, so we took 23 different consumer desktop 3D printers. And we got them all in one place, and we got a great group of experts to kind of go through and review and evaluate all these different printers. You know, when do you get to see that many in one place? Never. So it was a great chance to be able to compare and contrast and see them right next to each other, as opposed to, you know, looking at one at a Maker Faire or some other place. So we got to do some really great hands-on comparison testing, and yeah, so it was fantastic.
Yeah.
And we've got some great recommendations for a whole variety of users. We really wanted to focus on which printer was right for which type of user. And I think we have some questions on that on the page. Did we, Eric?
Yeah, we do. So the first question we covered was from Rachel Doherty on G+. And she asked which printer is best for families with small kids who are less interested in high-quality prints.
Sure. So let me get it for a second. I'm going to grab one of these printers.
Okay.
So, you know, we really recommend something like a PrinterBot Simple for that type of user. They're very affordable. You know, we've got them in the shed for $2.99 for a kit, and it's a really affordable way to get into desktop 3D printing.
Yeah, you really can't beat it.
You really can't beat the price, and the print quality was quite good. You know, not in the prosumer class by any means, but we were really happy with the prints that we got off this printer. I am personally very fussy about print quality, and I don't like to show people 3D printed objects that I don't feel represent 3D printing well. And I would happily show people objects that had been printed on a PrinterBot Simple. I thought they looked quite good.
Yeah.
So for the price, you really can't beat it. Best value in our testing.
Completely agree. That was definitely a big surprise in our testing. I guess part of having such an affordable 3D printer is you just come into it with some hesitation and really wondering if it would be worth or have decent quality, and it really did, which was great.
I agree. We were really pleasantly surprised by this printer.
So the next question we had on the page was from Bill Bedard, who said he loves the idea of 3D printing in the classroom, but it just takes too long with the current printer he has, which is the 3D Touch from Bits from Bytes. So he's asking how, in general, how to speed up the printing process, or which printers we carry are quicker.
Well, that's tricky. So the Bits from Bytes 3D Touch has been discontinued. And I know I've used one in the past, although I've never owned one myself. And unfortunately, it comes with proprietary software, so there are minimal changes that you can make. I don't quite remember if there was an ability to actually increase or decrease the speed, although I know it does use SkyForge as a slicing engine, so
that's good.
It should technically be possible to get under the hood and make changes. But it is a little bit more difficult sometimes with the proprietary software. If you are allowed to change the options for infill, I would decrease the amount of infill you're using and increase your layer height. That should make your prints go faster.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I would recommend to him as well. In general, you can edit the speed through slicing differently. And also for Bill, another good option for printing in a classroom, if he's doing some prints for students and downloads an item off Thingiverse and just wants to show off what the machine can do, it may be a good idea just to scale down the part. And that will grant a lot quicker printer times as well.
And I mean, something that we run into is, prints do take a while, and if you do need accurate size scale parts, sometimes it's better to go with the cheaper option. We did recommend the Printerbot Simple being for educators, simply because you could buy many Printerbot Simples for the price of, say, a Bits for Bytes 3D Touch,
right?
And you could have a lot of printers going at once and get a much bigger bang for your buck in the classroom.
And even better about buying something like the Simple is that it's so easy to assemble. You can even have your students put them together themselves.
Right, it's an excellent classroom exercise, mechanical engineering or anyone that wants to learn about it. There's nothing like assembling a 3D printer yourself to really know how they work.
Yeah, and building one is really the best way to do that. Actually, a comment we got on the page from someone, Clark Ward, said he agrees with us. The Printerbot Simple is hard to beat just for the cost, but he said the RepRap Pro Mendel is great if you just want to learn. And I completely agree. I mean, I've never learned more than by building the machines. And as I'm sure Anna knows, with pretty much no matter how much with any of these machines you can buy, these consumer machines you can buy now, it's almost impossible to not do any tuning at all. So by building a machine, that just makes it so much easier to tune and fix later on when you run into the inevitable problem.
That's right, exactly. I mean, these aren't quite consumer appliances yet. There still are extruder jams that you need to clear. There still are belts that need to be tightened. So it's definitely a good experience to build it yourself and learn all about it.
Yeah, totally. Okay, great. Well, now I think we can get into kind of what we carry in the shed and more specifically what certain printers are good for certain people. So like I said in the beginning, if you want to buy a 3D printer and have it in time for Christmas, that is still possible. It will require that you select overnight shipping, but we do have a few printers available that we can ship today if you order soon, including both MakerBots, the Ultimaker kit and assembled versions, the Orion Delta 3D printer, which we currently have $150 off on, as well as the two Ditto printers, the assembled and kit versions. So those you can get in time for Christmas if you select overnight shipping. Another thing I wanted to mention about a special deal we have in the shed right now is gift cards. So if you want to look into buying a 3D printer in 2014, or someone who's interested in looking to get one later on, buy them a gift card. I mean, the special deal we have now is if you buy a $50 gift card, you get $5 in shed credit, $15 of credit for $100, and $50 of credit for a $250 gift card. So definitely a good option if you want to buy a gift card for someone else. It'll be a great way to get more shed stuff next year. And now I guess we can just talk about the specific machine. So I figure we'll start with the easiest one, since Anna actually wrote a book about the MakerBots. Anna, do you want to talk a little bit about what's so great about them and who they're meant for?
Sure. So we have several different models. The ones that we tested, at least in our testing, was the Replicator 2. Mm-hmm. This machine was the same machine that we tested last year. However, they'd made some significant upgrades, especially in the firmware. So it was really fantastic to see the work of the Sailfish firmware team, both Jetty and Dan Newman, being integrated into the MakerBot firmware. Really radical improvements in both speed and print quality. So you'll be able to print much faster and still have very high quality prints with a very nice surface finish. So that was quite impressive in our testing. It was a machine that we could just kind of go to and let run. Yeah, and the surface quality, the surface finish was really quite beautiful right off the bat, and a marked improvement from previous year.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Makerware is just awesome software. and MakerBot's done such a good job of, on so many different aspects with the software, the machine itself, and the manual that comes with the machine. It just makes it really easy for anyone to get going.
Exactly. Makerware is getting better all the time, so it's nice to have high-end software. For a long time, we had a lot of Replicator G and various other software that was free and open source and great, but not necessarily as polished or as attractive or consumer-ready as Makerware or even Cura is now.
Yeah, so I remember the old days of starting up Python and opening up StoneForge. It was definitely much more of a challenge than it is today to get a print out.
Agreed. It's a lot easier to understand what you're doing, so that's fantastic.
Yeah. So what do you think about have you used the Replicator 2X much?
I have not actually used the Replicator 2X. I have a Replicator 2, and that's what we use for the testing. So I haven't used the 2X yet. But I hear you have one at the labs?
We do, yeah. We have one in the labs, and we have it available for the shed. And what we really like about it is, especially when printing with ABS, you get the fumes, which aren't great. And so the hood minimizes that. And it also has the heated bed, so you can do some really great large ABS prints, as well as some dual color stuff, which is really exciting.
Have you been doing any multi-material prints over there?
I don't believe they have. No, I personally haven't printed on the Replicator 2X, but I don't think the interns have done a whole lot of multi-material stuff. That's definitely something I think we'll get more into in 2014. And as we've talked about on the blog, or as others have written about on the blog, I think 2014 is going to be a huge year for new materials.
Agreed, definitely. We've seen so many new materials come out already. It's been really impressive just to see the full range of different types of things, from dissolvable to filaments that are infused with wood, to filaments that look like clay, to flexible. All different types of things make it really exciting. It makes 3D printing much more interesting to be able to have these different types of materials.
Yeah, completely agree. And so many things that were impossible to do a few years ago, like with dissolvable PLA and things, is so much easier now. And just with the size MakerBot's grown to, and all their power in the 3D printing world, they started really pumping out some cool materials.
Exactly.
They got the flexible, and don't they have glow in the dark as well?
They do.
Yeah, some really cool stuff. So now let's go and kind of talk to the other end of the spectrum with, well, not completely the other, but open source spectrum with the Ultimakers. So we have the kit and the assembled version of the original Ultimaker available online on the shed. And this is a machine that I've personally had a lot of experience with. I've built the Ultimaker kit myself, and really love how Ultimaker supports their machine. They do a really good job with documentation, really great support, and I'm really looking forward to seeing where they go in the future.
Yeah, definitely. It's nice to see Ultimaker keeping it open source. It's fantastic to see the development of Cura and how far it's come. It's really beautiful software, and it's so fast.
It is so quick. Yeah. Now, Anna, what do you think? Why should someone buy an Ultimaker or a Rep 2? Where do you draw that line?
The Replicator 2 performed really well during our testing. The Ultimaker 2 that we tested was a beta model, so it wasn't quite the final model. And although it printed very well, especially I love that heated glass bed. I mean, that's a huge feature. Those prints, especially PLA prints, just pop right off when you cool it down. There's nothing like heated glass. It's a marked improvement. I think it's really fantastic. And the only reason the Ultimaker 2, didn't come out slightly better is they were still dialing in the firmware. But they've released a new firmware update, and it's a real contender. It's a fantastic machine. We're really excited about it, and it's really great that we have it in the shed. Yeah.
Unfortunately, right now we are out of stock because.
Oh no! I was going to say, hurry, go buy one now.
Right. But, so the Ultimaker 2 we got, I think, over 20 in and sold out pretty quick. So they are really great machines. sold really well, and I know we do have more inbound, so we should have those available online within the next few days. Thankfully, we do have the original Ultimaker, the kit and assembled version, available and in stock. And really, yeah, what I love about those is since they are still open source and made from wood, which the new one isn't, I think those are really great if you want to do some tinkering and some modifying of your machine, unlike the Replicator 2, which is a little bit more difficult to modify. But with the fact that it's open source, if you want to print like a double size Ultimaker or a new side panel for your Ultimaker, you can download the files online and laser cut a new one, which is really cool.
Definitely, and what I've noticed about the Ultimaker too is there is room for a second extruder. So if you are so inclined, you could add your own extruder, or I'm sure they'll release an upgrade kit soon because it's there's a space cut for one.
Yeah.
So.
And speaking of a dual extrusion, we also carry the Ultimaker dual extruder kit that currently is only supported for the version 1 of the Ultimaker. But I know I've been talking to a few people that have been doing some dual extrusion experience with their original Ultimakers and really like it. And that's definitely something I want to get into eventually too. Of course, that sort of thing will still take some tinkering and some tuning, but there's nothing like doing a really awesome dual extrusion print.
Agreed, and using different materials, that you can dissolve away.
Yeah, really exciting stuff. Now let's go down to the printer bots. So we have we already touched on the printer bot Simple a little bit, but we actually carry pretty much their whole line. So we have the printer bot Plus, the V2, which comes assembled for $1,000, and we have the Simple in both kit and assembled form. Which at $299 for the kit, like we said, you can't really beat it. And then we also have the Printerbot Junior version 2, which also comes assembled, and that's another really affordable, really great machine. And really, the thing I love most about the Printerbots is just their simplicity, and they really, I don't know, I just love the feel of them, and they have this like really makery, tinkery feel. And like we said earlier, that really surprised us, especially the Printerbot Simple. I mean, for that price, we weren't expecting it to perform as well as it really did. So that's definitely one I recommend.
Agreed 100%. We were really pleasantly surprised with the affordability and the quality.
Yeah, and I love how the Printerbot Junior can fold up too. It's great for portability. And really, the low cost just makes these great for education or at-home use, especially if you're willing to do some tinkering and stuff. This makes a really great machine for the whole family.
Exactly, and it makes it easy to jump in too when you're not committing $2,000 to a machine.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's a huge difference. Like we said, you can buy 4 or 5 Printerbot Simples for the price of a lot of these other ones.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then next on my list is one I'm really excited about, which is the Orion Delta 3D printer, which is actually the only one we currently carry that we did not test. So this is a Delta machine. And Anna, do you want to talk a little bit about Delta machines and what they are and why they're cool?
Sure. Well, those of you out there listening may have seen a Delta robot. They have 3 arms that come to kind of a print head in the center, and instead of moving in the Cartesian coordinate system X, Y, and Z, they kind of move around. They look almost like an alien probe printing a model. They're really cool to watch.
Yeah.
I think all 3D printers are great to watch, but these are particularly interesting. And they typically have a much taller, I guess you'd call it a Z, even though it's set up a little bit differently. So they can usually print much taller things as opposed to much wider, flatter things, which is great for 3D printing anyway, considering you get a lot of peeling often when you print large flat objects.
Right. And there are some things that a lot of people that have used FDM machines may not know about Delta printers, which one cool little detail that I like is the fact that since it's just 3 stepper motors, one for each axis, you can actually move in X, Y, and Z at the same speed.
Exactly.
Which in an FDM machine, it's typically the Z-axis is on a threaded rod and is a lot slower, but here you can really zip around in all 3 axes, which is neat.
It's right, and what we noticed during our testing with the Mini Casa was you get almost 0 backlash and almost 0 ringing.
Yeah.
So, you're able to move that print head.
Never moving, too, which really helps. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a real difference in print quality. It's interesting.
Yep. Yeah, and one other exciting feature that I think which of our machines in the testing had auto leveling? Was it just the Up Plus 2 and the Mini Console, right?
Yes, just those two machines.
So that of course isn't limited or meant for a Delta machine, but we did see it on the console in our testing, and that feature I just love. I hope. I mean, if it was up to me, every 3D printing company would add auto leveling to their machine. I mean, that's just an awesome feature.
I agree. I think it's a no-brainer. As we all know, one of the biggest challenges for beginning users or any user of a 3D printer is keeping your bed level or trimmed to the nozzle, keeping it parallel. And so if it's not, completely trimmed, your prints won't stick, and you'll get very frustrated. So that just makes it fantastic to have this auto leveling feature built in. Get you started printing right away.
Yep. I think when people ask me for the few things that make a printer really easy to use, I'd say that's high up on the list. Another one is SD card support, which a lot of these machines have. I'm trying to think what other things would you say that really just make a machine easy?
Fans for PLA machines.
That's right. Yeah.
We definitely like to see fans on any machines that are, primary use to print PLA. It minimizes the stringing, and your prints just come out much nicer.
Yeah, for those of you out there that have not tried this, it's such a simple fix. Even if you're just like hot gluing a fan to your extruder or something, but adding some sort of cooling to your extruder will help monumentally. So definitely try that.
And if you're not perhaps so inclined to wire up a fan to your printer, even just putting a fan on your desktop blowing at the print will improve print quality. We did it during the testing.
Yeah, it does help really. That's right. We had like the big box fan.
We had the box fan, and we hooked up a fan to a power supply and just kind of ran that.
Yeah, definitely helps a lot. Well, another great thing about the Orion printer is, like you said, it's massive, so you can print really, really tall things.
Like
but
vases.
we also, really great for vases. But we also have that $150 off in the shed until January 1st.
Awesome.
And that one you can get by Christmas Day if you order it right now. It's like next day shipping. So that one I'm really excited about, and looking to get more Delta machines in next year. So look out for those.
Excellent.
Next down on our list, is the Cube 3D printer from 3D Systems. So we did not test that one this year, correct? No, we didn't.
The Cube? Yes, we did.
Oh, we did. Okay.
Yeah, the Cube 2.
Oh, that's right. And we had it last year as well.
I know, there's so many of them, right?
Yeah, it's so hard to remember. So do you want to talk a little bit about the difference between the version 1 and the version 2? Because I know there are some big things that make this more appealing to families, maybe?
Sure, yeah. So what we noticed, I wasn't around last year to test the first version, but what we did notice, what some of the testers noticed that were present for both tests, was that they've added a little bit of almost like a protector, like a gasket around the nozzle.
Yeah.
So it makes it a little bit more difficult for say, children who are kind of reaching up at the printer to touch it and get burned. It's still possible, of course, but it adds a little, it adds an extra layer of protection that none of the other printers had. In addition, it's got this this glass bed that isn't heated.
That's right.
And so
another
that's
safety feature.
Exactly. You're not exposing children to multiple hot things.
Which is great.
Yeah.
And that one, and the other great thing about that is although you do have to buy the filament cartridges from 3D Systems or from us on the shed, they do have tons of different colors.
It's true.
Which is great. And while I'm on the subject of filament, we actually just added a bunch of colors of our own in the shed. These are just normal spools you can use on pretty much any FDM machines. We have like black, brown, pretty much all colors of the rainbow. So definitely check out our filament page on the shed. Next on the list are the Ditto machines. So one thing I really love about these two, we have both the assembled and the kit version, is that they basically seem like a little baby Ultimaker, but on a little bit less expensive.
Yes, that's basically what we found. It was very similar to an Ultimaker. The print quality wasn't quite as good as the Ultimaker, but we felt that you could dial it in. If you spent a little bit of time with the machine, that you could have achieved something close to that. It has a very similar style gantry. in a very similar aesthetic as well.
Yeah, that was one thing I really loved, or one of my favorite features of the Ultimaker is that gantry system. So I was really happy to see that on another machine. That was really great. And then another one that really surprised us was the Felix. And this is actually currently out of stock in the shed, but we're getting more in. And this one I think came as it came assembled, right?
It did. It did.
Yep. But really, really awesome quality. And I think I remember during the weekend, no one really was talking about it a whole lot. And then like, oh wow, this thing's actually doing pretty well. It was pretty surprising, but really solid machine.
Yeah, it's not the fastest machine, although there may be ways to speed it up and make it go faster. But the print quality was excellent. We were really surprised. We printed very small make robots, and the lettering came out on the back in a way that it didn't quite come out on hardly any other printer. It came out well on the Replicator 2 and the Ultimaker, but the Felix was really kind of a cut above. We were impressed.
Yep, and for the cost, it's around $1,300 for a kit. It's pretty affordable too. And then the last one on my list here is, which we talked a little bit about briefly earlier, is the Ultimaker 2. So this, really excited about. They have, and one of the things I love most about this machine is just the user experience and the user interface.
Agreed.
I think they did an awesome job of being able to just pop in an SD card and make it easy enough and have great text and visuals to make it so anyone can print. I actually forget where I read it. It may have been on the Make blog, where someone said like they bought a machine, an Ultimaker 2, and a print stopped, and then the father came back and saw his daughter like setting up a print. She's like, oh yeah, it's so easy. I just followed the instructions on the machine. It's like that is not something you hear a lot about 3D printers, so that was cool to hear. Cool, and then I think to finish up here, we're going to talk a little bit about cool holiday prints. So for those of you that own a 3D printer, of course next week we're going to be around family and friends, so why not print something awesome to show off your machine to your family? So Anna did a great job of putting on the event page some suggested prints to do, so I guess we can run through those now. I'm going to attempt to share my screen here. There we go. So this first one, Anna, I believe is your Christmas tree collection on Thingiverse. You want to talk about these a little bit?
Yeah, that's right. So I like to print all kinds of ornaments for my tree for Christmas, and I've been assembling a collection for about the past 3 years now.
Wow.
Yeah, so anything that I see that looks great that I might want to put on my tree or make into a tree topper, give away for presents, anything like that, is in that collection. So it's just a lot of stuff that's on Thingiverse that's neat and Christmassy.
Cool. Yeah, and I just noticed on the front page of Thingiverse this morning they have a featured collection of ornaments, which is another option. And one of my favorites was the Pixel Star Christmas tree topper, like the Mario star. It's like, I thought that was cool. And this one looks pretty neat. Got the illuminated rocket ornament here. Oh, did we lose Anna?
Oh, I'm still here.
Oh, okay. And then, you want to talk about some of Casey's work?
I do. Yeah. So actually, last year I printed a whole bunch of these pretty small things, scale furniture for my niece. She has a dollhouse, and she really loved the furniture. So it can be a fantastic print for anyone that loves miniatures or has train sets or a dollhouse. Makes a really great gift.
Now I know Casey was out here for the testing, and she was great to have around. I didn't actually get a chance to talk to her in depth about how she goes about printing these things. I mean, looking at this 1:60 scale country picnic, is that all done on a Replicator too?
I believe these all were. This might actually have been done on an original Replicator.
Wow, that's very impressive.
Yeah, back in 2012.
That's really cool. All right, next we got a Umagine object.
Yeah, so I just thought this was a pretty print. I like prints that can be printed in translucent PLA colors and then illuminated with LEDs. I'm a big fan of that.
I definitely feel the same. Now, these would look awesome with some LEDs, clearly. Next over here, oh, Christmas gift box. These are cool.
Yeah, I just saw that and I thought that those were adorable. Nice
Yes.
kind of multicolor print. And you can print them separately, so you don't need a dual extrusion machine. You can print the bow in one color and then stick it on the box and have it snap in.
Yep, yep. Oh, that's really cool. And the Krampus.
Yep, gotta have a Krampus for Christmas.
Of course you do. Another lit object, snowflake
Yeah, and this
light holder.
one prints really beautifully.
Yeah.
I was really impressed with how this came out. I was worried about some of the recesses, but prints beautifully. It looks great, and I love those little LED candles, either the flickery ones or the ones that change colors. They look great in here, and you don't have to worry about things catching fire or melting or plastic burning. So definitely go with the little LED votives.
Yeah, that looks great. Oh, and then all these vases are definitely a lot of fun to print.
Yeah, those are fun. They look great lit up.
Yep. What's this? Oh,
so this is a Christmas cracker.
Oh, cool.
By Make-A-Lot, and it's just kind of a cool idea, little spin-off on the original Christmas cracker.
Yep.
You can print it and kind of fill it with stuff and break it open, and
Nice.
just a fun thing for Christmas.
Yeah, that is neat. And the last one.
Oh yeah,
Classic angel tree topper.
Classic angel or semi-classic. We get the weeping angel tree topper for you Whovians out there.
Yep.
Don't blink.
Very cool. Great. Well, for those of you that want to look at any of these prints we just mentioned, if you go to the event page on Google+, you can find all those. Another I feel the need to mention is, and I don't think I have the page pulled up, unfortunately, but if you go to the Make blog and look at one of Anna's most recent posts, it's about Michael Curry's fantastic LED, or not LED, Lego minifig designs.
Yes, those are incredible. I highly recommend it.
Yeah, I maybe 2 weeks ago went over to his Thingiverse page and my jaw hit the floor just seeing some of the cool stuff he'd done. But now it looks like he's been adding new stuff every day. I mean, he has a Stig on there, Heisenberg.
It's been going crazy.
Yeah.
Joker, Luke Skywalker, Stormtroopers.
Yeah.
Just Rick from The Walking Dead, everything.
Yep, really, really, really awesome stuff.
And
so definitely check out his Thingiverse page. It's Skimball, Skimbal, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yep.
That's right.
Yeah, really, really great stuff. Cool. Well, I think that's pretty much it. For those of you that have questions for Anna and I that we didn't get to or didn't see before we started, definitely leave a comment on the Google event page and we will answer them.
Yeah, definitely hit us up. I know the audio wasn't so good in the beginning. My headphones had broke. I'm sorry, guys. But please hit me up for any questions that you have or anything you couldn't hear, and I'll be happy to answer you.
Likewise. All right, everyone have a good Friday and enjoy their holidays. Thanks,
Happy
Anna.
holidays, everyone. Thanks, Eric.
Bye.
Bye.